right, all you graveyard shift racers out there, welcome back to Under the Radar. And this week's Stunts of the Week comes from none other than Carl Johnson 0281 with their stunt, Midden Gem, and also comes from the stuntress Finewood on Fire with their said stunt, Danger Zone. And the reason why in the world we picked these two stunts, well, if somebody is cool enough to go down a giant super ramp, pull off a front flip, land on all four wheels like a glove, and then decide to Velcro stick themselves onto a wall like nothing happened after falling down a tube, definitely deserves to be mentioned on the show. And the reason why we picked the other stunt, well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're crazy enough to fly upside down through a tunnel with an F1 car on your back, yeah, you deserve to be mentioned on this show too for being absolutely nuts. And speaking of people being nuts, folks, I think it's time for us to get ready to rev our engines and welcome in the new breed of tracks featuring open wheels as we get ready to go into a very special open wheel customization edition of the GTA Online Top 5 Tracks of the Week. And the first track that we have up comes from the creator Gilmore50 with their said track, Crash and Die Triple XL. And this track for this week, folks, yes, we do realize there's a track we mentioned on the show before that Gilmore50 was able to do, but she would be able to modify it with open wheel cars, adding a true new thrill to this said track. And the only tip of advice I have for you fans out there if you decide to use open wheel cars is to make sure you pick up every single boost you possibly can, because the natural boost for this car is not active during this said track. So you're going to need as much help as you can get, and alongside with it, make sure you avoid those missiles, because if they hit you, it will cost you during this race. No matter how high the acceleration you have when your car is, it will cost you during the said race. And the first track of the Open Wheel Creative Series we have up, folks, for this week's Top 5 Tracks of the Week comes from none other than Cosmo with their said track, F1 Diamond Grand Prix. And this track, which is a very interesting track with a lot of hairpin turns and a cool straight line straight ahead, folks. The reason why in the world we picked this track for this week, not only because it's a long distance track which will really get some mileage out on your Formula 1 cars, but it also comes with a very unique and very convenient pit lane to help you repair your car and get you right back into that race to take out your opponents. And also it comes with the boost included, or the cursed boost that you get a chance to use during the said race. Now, the only tip of advice we have for you fans out there, depending on your skill level of the race, make sure you test it out with medium tires at first to get a feel for the course, and then decide to go to soft or hard tires to see how you would fare in the said race. And also, as another bonus, watch out for hitting any of these turns with your car, because if you hit your car into the wall, enough damage will take you out during this race, which will cost you. So be careful and have fun. And the next track that we have up comes from the creator Cobalt TBD with their said track, Down the Drain Grand Prix. And this track, folks, which is an open wheel track, which does come with a couple of added bonuses in there, really is a pretty cool open wheel track that is featured in the Los Santos River. And the only tip of advice we have for you fans out there who decides to go for this race is to make sure you remember where the turn point is when you make your way back to the finish line for the said race. And what do I mean by that, folks? When you reach the end of the track and if you're slipstreaming off your opponent, there is no barricade or barrier up on that upper region before you fly directly into that open reservoir. So yeah, make sure you watch your speed while you're cutting that turn and making your way back toward that finish line. Because if you don't, you're gonna turn your car into a flotation device and it will cost you during this race. And the next track that we have up comes from the creator Too Good Deneza, or Too Good Denezi. We'll go with the second one with their said track, Theo Roll. And the reason why in the world we decided to pick this track for the week, folks, just like a guy a long time ago told me, is to keep it simple. And this track with an elevated oval in the middle of the sky with a racetrack, very simple. And not to mention an oval formation to truly test the speed of your said car. And the only tip of advice that we have for you race fans out there, since the cursed boost is available during the said track, is to use that boost responsibly, especially when you're getting out of the pit lane, where you can actually change your tires over during the race while you're in the pit lane too. Almost forgot to mention that, but yeah, you can change your tires over during the pit lane exchange. So, like we said before, use that boost right when you get out of that pit lane so you can get right back into the action and don't get lapped during this said track. Because if you do, it might cost you during this race. And the last but not least track that we have up for this week comes from the creator Elite Gunsintra _BR with their said track, The Finewood Circuit. Now, this track, the reason why we picked it for this week, folks, besides it being a very special off-road track that sort of reminds me of something straight out of Ridge Racer Revolution, but also a track where you would have to wait until you get to the second lap to use the cursed boost to your advantage, which is very unique. And the only tip of advice we have for you race fans out there, who you sub-streamers or those who like to use boost on straightaways, be careful using this boost when you reach near the finish line, because let's just say if you don't hit that right-hand turn quick enough, you will hit right directly into the wall and your friends will follow, leaving you in a bit of a pile-up moment while somebody comes along and steals first place from you and everybody else who got caught in that pile-up. So yeah, use your boost responsibly. And if you guys want to go ahead and try out these said tracks that we mentioned for this week, plus other great tracks that we included in one big mega playlist, you can go ahead and check it out on the socialclub.rockstar games page, only known as socialclub.rockstargames.com, and just search for the playlist entitled Stock Adventure to try out all of those beautiful open wheel custom tracks for yourself. And for those who decide to bring friends along with you on this magical open wheel journey, you can get upwards of well over $150,000 to $200,000 from all of these tracks during the races. So good luck, because there's about 14 on that playlist as a little bit of a heads up. And I guess with that said, folks, wraps it up for another edition of the GTA Online Top 5 Tracks of the Week. And I guess with that said, we might as well head back into that music one more time. And when we return, we'll be back with the final segment for Under the Radar for this week, right after this. So don't skip out on that dose of madness just yet, folks, and stay tuned.